Welcome to the Courage Barbell Unlimited podcast with your host, legendary powerlifter and strength athlete, Chad Ikes. For most, the journey of strength starts in the gym, but should inevitably expand through all aspects of life. Join us as we discuss all things strength. Now, here's your host, Chad Ikes.
Hello. This evening, I'm going to talk about sleep. And this is actually the second episode. I'm re-recording it because the first one, I am just kind of starting to come out of a bad sleep spell. I tried to live kind of a normal life and went about 4 to 6 weeks and everything went to shit. It just didn't turn out. I figured I'd just redo it all together. So that's what this is about tonight. And I kind of want to break it down into a couple different things. The first one being what I go through, what I experience. And I want to talk about that, first of all, because people recommend a lot of stuff for me. And I understand that it's really nice that they do that. And it's only because they want to help. At the same time, you can only have someone say the same thing to you over and over without at some point going, geez, come on. It's kind of like when I delivered booze. I worked for the Teamsters for like 20 years. And, you walk into a bar and the guy's like, hey, put that out in the white truck out front. And you're like, yeah. I've only heard that like 100,000 times. It's just not funny anymore. But I know that people intend well. So I wanted to just kind of quickly go over what I deal with, what I've been through, what I've done, if for the people that don't know. And I also wanted to explain that because it's not like I have this completely horrible, debilitating situation. What I have is the same thing that everyone else goes through. I'm just way at one seriously far extreme. And I think this is the case with most mental health issues. It's not like a bipolar person has this completely crazy disorder. They have the same thing that affects everyone to some extent. It's just with them, it's way more extreme, which might be me. I was diagnosed bipolar, but I question it because their whole diagnosis system is a bunch of bullshit, to be honest. So here's the deal with my sleep. Starting around 5th grade, and I only know this now because I can look back on it. Starting sometime around 5th grade, that's the time I could not stay awake in class. Classes that I enjoyed, classes that I liked, didn't matter. I would go into school, try to pay attention. Within 5 to 10 minutes, I'm just like, and in that time frame, in those 50 minutes class, I would still wake up like 30 times. Like I didn't stay asleep, but it was just like, even when I enjoyed them. And I had a teacher in high school who was my health, I think it was a health class or one of the biologies. I had it for a couple classes, but she actually took us to Davis Chiropractic in St. Louis. I think it was called Davis College of Chiropractic, and Washington University in St. Louis, which is the medical school, to do cadaver work. So when I was in high school, I'm already doing cadaver work, which I loved. So like the fact that she did those things and she was so cool to me. And I actually ended up, she had 3 adopted sons who I really loved. I thought they were awesome, but they were a handful. Like they were rambunctious boys. And she would have parties at her house and I would go to her house and I ended up babysitting her kids and stuff. And one morning she came into school and she goes, Chad, can I ask you a question? I'm like, yeah, what's up? And she goes, do you not like my classes? Do you not like my teaching style? And I go, no, I love your classes. I love your teaching style. She's like, well, then why do you sleep every day? I go, because I don't have a choice. Like I cannot stay awake. And I found out later, I started talking to my mom and she goes, yeah, I used to take you to the doctor. And she goes, kept asking him, I go, something's wrong. He's tired all the time. And the doctor's like, oh, he's just growing. Don't worry about it. No big deal. He'll grow out of it. Da, 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 da. And so I honestly did not know that I had sleep problems. I honestly thought everyone else was up all night. I thought people struggled to sleep. And I honestly went, well, I'm a pussy. I got to toughen up. Like I got to deal with this better. Everybody does this. This is just life. Like when I started actually finding out about sleep and finding out that people would go to bed and wake up and it's morning, or people would, I mean, you're like, oh yeah, I wake up a couple times a night. Like what? Really? That's it? Like unbelievable. How? And I learned that in my 20s, I really started to learn that if I didn't take every other weekend and make sure that I could sleep in on Saturday and Sunday, if I didn't do that, if I skipped 2 weekends in a row, my life would turn to complete and utter crap. I would start getting serious migraines. My training would go to shit. I would be pissed off even more than my normal angry. And like, it would just go bad. And I thought, okay, well, everyone deals with this. For some reason, I'm not tough enough. I can't handle it. So this is what I need to do then. And, I honestly loved when I got a really bad migraine. So if I started in the morning, I'm like, oh crap, here comes a migraine. All right, this is good. Like I never missed work or nothing. Like I would tough it out. I would get through the day and I would go home, grab an ice pack. There was a time where I had like a lazy boy recliner in my bedroom, and I would go in there, put the ice pack on my face, turn off all the goddamn lights because light just killed me. And that night I would actually get decent sleep. Like I would only wake up a few times, and I would wake up the next day like, oh my God, I feel so much better. So it got to where I looked forward to getting the migraines. And that's how I lived for a long time. And then when I found powerlifting, again, I'm trying to sleep in it like every weekend because I just can't keep up, man. My body just keeps getting beat up. And at one point, I fell asleep at a stop sign. And that was my realization of, Chad, something's wrong. Like you could hurt people. I don't care about hurting yourself, but you could hurt other people. Somebody hit my brother and shot him through the windshield when we were in, God, I was probably in first grade, kindergarten, first grade. So like that's something that's always in my head, and I do not want that to happen, because it seriously impacted his life. So started getting the sleep studies, went and looked at everything, and lo and behold, my ass got a lot bigger and I developed apnea. So we go through the studies. We're like, cool, you got apnea. Put you on a CPAP. No, sleep still sucks. It's better. It's better than it was. Life's better, a little happier. But still, something's not right. Because we did the first one and they put a CPAP on me halfway through the night. And they're like, okay, it's better. Let's titrate you, get it up. And we did another study. And I'm still waking up all the time. And I'm not getting any deep sleep. I'm going in and out of REM all night long. So then we start looking at more things and they start doing more tests. And like over the years, I think I've had 5 full sleep studies, something like that. I've had the MS, what is it? Sleep late MSLT test, the sleep latency test. I've had like a couple of those. We've done the blood work. We've done everything but the spinal tap to confirm narcolepsy. So I've had multiple doctors go, yes, you have narcolepsy. There's no question. I've had multiple doctors tell me there's nothing they can do. I actually had one doctor where I made an appointment and went in to see her, and she goes, why are you here? And I go, because I don't sleep and I'm exhausted and I would like to fix this problem. And she goes, yeah, we told you have narcolepsy. There's nothing we can do. That's it. It's you have narcolepsy. Why are you here? And I was pissed. Then later I went to another clinic and had a really cool doctor. And the whole time I'm doing this, I've done tons of research on my own. I've looked into multiple things. I've tried like drugs that I couldn't get my insurance company to pay. I've found other ways to get those drugs, to titrate them and try them myself. I've tried more drugs than I can even remember. The one sleep drug that worked was Seroquel, but Seroquel, it didn't help me sleep. It knocked me out. And then I would be kind of drowsy and weird halfway through the first day. And it was my ex-wife or wife at the time who actually brought that to my attention because I never really realized it. And she was like, you're really, the first half of the day, you're really messed up. And she goes, but it's worth it. She goes, because I love how you are in the afternoon when you kind of start coming out of it. And then I ended up going, all right, if it's not helping me sleep, why am I doing this? I'm taking massive doses of schizophrenic drug to try and sleep at night. And I go, it's causing more shit than it's helping. So I got off of that. Of all the other drugs, nothing works. I can take massive amounts of Ambien, Lunesta. Like I've tried some of the newer insomnia drugs. I can take them and watch TV all night. I actually got GHB at one time, which now is called Xerum, because they put a patent on a street drug because they did some tests and said, oh, this is now a narcolepsy drug. So we're getting a patent on it. And we're going to charge $50,000 a year to take it, which I, of course, can't afford. So I got it myself. And I played around to titration. I ended up at like 14 grams. I believe 7 will kill you. I stayed up all night and watched TV. Now, the bonus to this is I can't be date raped. So that's pretty cool. Didn't work. The one thing that does work is Adderall. I love Adderall. But again, this is not good for me. And to me, it's like I want to solve the problem. I don't want to take drugs to keep myself up all day. So I refuse to fill my scripts for Adderall. And I refuse to take it. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to get heart problems and shit because you can't figure out what's wrong with me. That doesn't make sense. Then one of the last, I haven't been to a doctor in a while. Every now, I get tired of looking it up. I get tired of reading the information about it. Every now and then I'll go back in and start doing more research and see if anything new's come up. But the last clinic I went to, the doctor was really cool. And I really respected him. And when I first went to him, I sat down and I told him what I'd done. I told him the research that I know. I told him, here's the drugs I would like to take. Here's the doses I would like to try, and then go up to this dose. If it hits this dose, didn't work. And I came in with all my ducks in a row, and he was actually really impressed with how I looked at it. And I'd come up with some ideas and concepts that they hadn't actually tried. So he was really cool about working with me on that. And eventually he sat me down and he's like, Chad, I called all the doctors in the clinic for a meeting. Before the meeting, I make sure I had copies of all your medical. I had them all look at your medical stuff. We don't know what to do. He goes, every one of us looked at it and nobody has any idea how to help you. And he goes, I will keep trying. I will do whatever I want whatever you want. He goes, if there's ever a drug you want to try, come back, let me know. We'll figure out a way to get it for you. Like if you come up with any more research or any more ideas and it's stuff you want to talk about, you want to try, he goes, you seem like a very intelligent person. If there's anything I can help you with, I'm more than willing to talk to you and discuss with you about this. So he was actually really cool, and I really respected the fact that he was straight up with me, but not an asshole about it, like some of the other doctors. And I've had multiple doctors tell me that I need to just go on disability. I've been to multiple therapists that told me I need to go on disability, but I just can't get myself to do that. I've managed to support myself my whole life. Yes, there's struggles. Yes, there's things I have to do. Yes, I really can't live a normal life. I can live a fairly normal life, but I can't go out and do things every weekend. I can't go out and do things every night. It will catch up with me and it will run me into a brick wall, and my body will completely and utterly reject everything at some point. it will completely break down. I'll get into that later. So that's it. I've tried, you name it, I've tried it. Unless it's something completely new or something they just discovered. That's it, man. Like this is what I have. I have to make it work. The best information I ever read when the N1H1 virus came out, they found out a bunch of people came out with narcolepsy after getting that. And so they started studying it, and they found out that there was this chemical orexin that the body produces that's actually what regulates your sleep-wake cycles. It actually has another name, like hippocrete or something like that. I don't know why it has two names. And your body attacks that so you don't have it. So it's like, they think it's an autoimmune disorder of our body going after that certain chemical and not allowing the body to produce it. And that's where the final test is a spinal tap, where they see if you act, because it goes in your spinal fluid, if they see if you actually have that or not. But at the time, my insurance company, they wouldn't pay for that test. So that's basically what I have. That's what I deal with. I get almost no deep sleep. I do get REM sleep. My sleep is up and down and all over the place. I can actually go over it here really quick. This is all from my Aura ring, which when I first got to the rings and the little things that this is not a wedding ring, this is an Aura ring. If it's just they only make it's only so big, so like I can't get one to fit my middle finger. It'll only fit this finger, and if I went smaller, I'd have to put it on my pinky. And they want it on the hand that you don't use the most, so that's where I wear it. But I looked at when I first started using these things, I looked and compared my real full sleep studies to the ring, and I went, honestly, it's fairly accurate. And using it over time, I'm like, it seems to be fairly consistent too. So I actually like it, just to, even if it's not completely accurate, you can use it to track your sleep and try to trend it in a better direction. So let's look up total sleep. So I'm going to look, I've been using this particular ring since 2020. So I've been using it for 4 years, and my sleep is way better now than it was. When I was competing, I would regularly be up for 2 to 3 days. I did a meet one time at, I think it was 9 days. By the time I got back home, I was awake for 11 days. And I know I was awake for a couple more days, but everything was getting so messed up. I can't say for sure how long I was actually awake, but that was my longest time awake. But I would regularly be up for a couple days. And luckily I was doing a lot more photography back then and selling prints and stuff. So like I would come home from work, do my training, eat dinner. Then I'd be like, all right, I'm not going to sleep, and I can't look at a mattress. Like there was a point in my life where looking at a mattress would give me anxiety. And I would rather go sleep on the living room floor than even look in my bedroom. So I would pack up my camera gear and I would go shoot photography all night. I loved going to graveyards at night, shooting photography. I loved walking around downtown late at night, and even the university. There's just, the lighting at night is just really cool. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do. And then I would come home, take a shower, and go to work. And I would do that for a couple nights and then be like, okay, I think I might sleep tonight, so let's try it. And that was really normal for me. I even went out of town a couple times. Funny story about going to the Bigger, Faster, Stronger premiere. I went down with a friend, and neither of us had a whole lot of money at that time. And I'm like, dude, all we got to do is fly down there, man. Fly down and we get a rental car. And he's like, yeah, but what are we going to do? We're going to be down there for like 2 days. And I go, it's 2 days. So what? Like, you can't stay awake for 2 days? Bitch, it's your problem. And we had to pull over in like a Denny's parking lot eventually, because he's like, dude, I got to sleep. So I went in and ate, and he slept in the car. That was pretty funny. That was nothing for me. So I'm looking at total sleep from 2020 to 2024. I'm averaging 5.5 hours of sleep a night. That's my average. And it actually in 2020 was at 4 hours and 20 minutes. So I've actually improved it. And so like in 2022, I was up to 5 hours and 50 minutes average. 2023, I dropped down to 5 hours and 25 minutes. So even over the past 5 years, where I don't really have the insomnia that I used to have anymore, like I can't remember the last time I had a full insomnia night. I get some sleep every night. So it has trended much better over the years. But that's still, even if I'm averaging 5.5 hours or almost 6 hours with what I do, that's just not enough. And then total sleep is not the only factor either. The quality of your sleep is really important too. So let me go to REM sleep. Over from 2020 to 2024, I average an hour of 13 minutes of REM a night. In 2020, when I started with this ring, I was getting 47 minutes a night. So that has trended up. But an hour and 13 minutes of REM, it'd be better to be around 2. Now, the one that really kills me here is going to be deep sleep. So deep sleep from 2020 to 2024, my average is 10 minutes. So I get 10 minutes of deep sleep a night. In 2020, that was 7 minutes. I hit a peak in 2023, which was 12 minutes. And so far this year, I'm down to 8 minutes again. It's been a rough year for my sleep. So that kind of lets you know what my sleep is like. It's not like I don't sleep anymore. I do get sleep. It's just the quality is horrible. So that's what I deal with. That's why I go up and down and I do all this stuff. Now, so what are symptoms? And again, I'm on the extreme end of it, okay? So there's times where I'm so exhausted and my sleep is so bad that my vision is blurry all day long. And I do have glasses. I do wear glasses, but it's beyond that. It actually gets worse. There's times where I got to get up and stand right in front of my TV to read what I want to watch because I can't read it. And depending on how bad the sleep is, that just gets progressively worse. When I'm getting my regular 6 hours and I'm getting 10 to 15 minutes of deep sleep and like an hour and something of REM, my vision gets clearer. So it's such an extreme level. It actually impacts my eyes if I'm not getting enough sleep. And all of these are going to kind of be signs of overtraining too. So it's hard to say, well, is it the overtraining or is it the sleep? And they kind of go hand in hand. When my sleep's bad, I start getting way tighter. And I'm normally a very flexible person. Over this last spell when my body was rejecting me, I get up in the morning and every morning I take a shower. I usually take 2 showers a day. And the first thing I do is like let the hot water run on my back and I bend over and touch the ground, with my knees straight, stretching. And it was getting to where it's like, man, it was like I couldn't touch the ground. And normally I can lay my palms flat on the ground, like right away. And when I said, okay, man, my sleep's horrible, I can't train this week. Actually, I took a week and a half off, I think. Near the end, like just a couple of days ago, I'm like, oh, okay, it's back. Now I can bend over. My flexibility is good. So my flexibility and mobility go. Joint pain. I'll start getting a lot of joint pain, especially like old injury pain. I'll get stiffer. I'll get clicks. And it's like, man, my elbow's hurting when I bench. My elbows don't hurt. I don't have joint. I'm 52. I have no joint problems. Like I've trained smart enough my whole life. I have great mobility, great range of motion. Why is my shit hurting? It's because I'm not getting enough sleep. As soon as I back off, get my sleep better, the pain goes away and I'm fine. Mentality is a huge effect with my sleep. When I'm not sleeping or when my sleep goes bad, my mentality goes to a very negative side. I get a lot more angry. I have a lot more trouble trying to focus on the positive. I get very fixated on things that I don't understand or things that frustrate me. Like I have a hard time letting go. And even if it's something stupid, Like I may be having a discussion with somebody and I'm just getting irritated because they can't understand what I'm saying, or they just don't want to fix anything. And it just gets in me and it just gnaws at me like all day. And I really, really, really have to work to let things go. So that's like the whole mentality. And if you think about this, it's really like if you have children or if you have nieces and nephews or you're around kids, you can tell when they need a nap. And we act like that goes away when we get older, and it doesn't. If you really start watching adults and you watch how their sleep was, or even at times you'll see somebody's crabby, like I'm gonna go lay down for a while, and then they wake up and all of a sudden they're happy again. Like it's no different. I don't know why we think it happens in children, but it doesn't happen in adults. So it's really that whole attitude and that mindset. It gets really hard to stay positive. And that's where if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to start a training program, you need to get your sleep. Like if your mind is right, if you're in the right mindset, if you're in a positive place, it's going to be easy to stick to your diet. It's when all that fades away that you can't stick to it. So people are like, why am I not motivated? How many hours of sleep are you getting? How's the quality of your sleep? You want to be motivated? Get your sleep. You'll be more motivated, I guarantee it. So there's this huge whole mindset that happens when you don't sleep. And I think it's got something to do with the central nervous system, the chemical releasing in your brain. I mean, you got to remember your deep sleep is when your body actually releases the vast majority of the chemicals in your body and hormones and all that stuff. Well, if you're not getting that sleep, then your body's not releasing all those things. It's not producing all those things that you need. This is an interesting one. And I had the other day, I've learned that it's not other people's responsibility whether I sleep or not. They're not in charge of my feelings. They're not in charge of what I do. That's not their responsibility. This is the hand I was dealt. It's my responsibility to play the hand and do the best that I can. So I don't expect the world to go, oh my God, Chad doesn't sleep. We need to change the whole world so it fits better for Chad. Like, that's just stupid. That's not how society works. If it was, I would make sure nobody gets up before 10. No businesses would open before 10. And we would have national nap time. But that's unrealistic. So with my clients and stuff, when I had a job, it was different because I'm like, I'll do my fucking job. Just don't talk to me. And like my friends knew, they would look at me and everybody's like, oh, that's cool. And then new people are like, dude, does Chad hate me, man? Chad doesn't talk to me. He goes, he doesn't give two shits about you. Why would he hate you? He doesn't care about you. He just doesn't sleep, so he doesn't want to fucking talk. Leave him alone. And I would always get my job done. Well, now I train people. So I feel like I need to let them know, hey, sleep's a little off today. So, just warning you, might not talk as much. Things might happen. And I was talking to one of my clients about, like, we were talking about some of the symptoms when my sleep has gone bad. And he goes, yeah, I've noticed some things about that. And I go, really? So what did you notice? Well, he's like, two things for sure. He goes, one, you drop stuff a lot. I go, yes, this is very, very true. When I'm having really bad sleep spells, my motor skills suck. Like, they're horrible. It used to really bother me, but I've learned to control those emotions. And I just go, all right, I'm going to drop a lot of stuff today. Do I want to be pissed off about it all day, or do I just want to deal with it? No, I'd rather not be pissed off. I'd rather maintain a nice, as positive a feeling as I can. So why get pissed off? I know what's going to happen. Just pick it up. Shut up. Like, it's not that big a deal. So yeah, I drop stuff all day long. It's constant. And he goes, you cuss a lot when your sleep's bad. And I thought that was an interesting one because I never really thought of that. I never recognized that one. But after he said it, I started thinking about it and I'm like, oh, that's actually really true. And I think it's because cussing is easy to me. Like, it comes natural. So I don't even have to think about it. I just let them fly. Where normally I try to come up with more intelligent words to use. So that was an interesting one. So I noticed, like, my patience is shorter. I will get stressed a little more over situations that normally I don't get stressed over. My mentality is definitely more negative, and I know these things that happen now, so I can fight them. When my sleep's bad, I make sure I schedule time for a walk. And that walk is, again, that's no microphones, that's no listening to anything. That's me on my walk, like focusing and meditating to force my mind to be where I want it to be and not let the sleep take over. My strength will definitely be down. Like I said, motor skills are down, so technique's down. And it's just this whole thing, and you fight all day long to try to stay positive. I get really quiet. I get way more antisocial than I even normally am. And those are basically some of the bigger signs to me. I will crave just the shittiest, crappiest food, which only makes the situation worse. Those are some of the main causes to me. Now, what happens is when my sleep starts to go bad, it will keep getting worse. And how it starts is taking longer and longer to fall asleep. Or I'll fall asleep really quick for a couple minutes, and then I'm awake for a long, long time. So if you look at my sleep patterns, as it gets worse, it gets to where it's light. It's all just chopped up light sleep, chopped up light sleep, and not until way early in the morning will I start getting a little bit of REM, and I'll probably get no deep sleep. And if I can catch it earlier and try to rework my life a little bit, I can stop it from progressing. And it will progress all the way to insomnia if I don't act on it and try to fix it as best I can. So that brings us to the causes of it. For me, the cause of it is narcolepsy. And I still try to train hard. I still push my body. And I'm on this edge of a knife, falling, overtraining. Like it's the slightest thing pushes me into overtraining. Now, one of the worst things for my sleep is overtraining. And I would say under recovering, but I mean, I'm trying to get the nutrition in. I can only control so much of the sleep, and I'll talk here in a minute about that with regular people. So for me, one of the biggest things is stresses. So letting myself get stressed out, because if your central nervous system is in a sympathetic state the whole time, if you're in fight or flight, it's going to be really hard to sleep. You got to get down into the parasympathetic, and that's where your body starts calming down. That's where your body starts dropping. Your body temperature, and you can actually get to sleep. So for me, belly breathing is important, relaxing is important, and trying to have that time to just chill out and go inside myself and just spend that time looking at the world from the inside out and realizing how much control I have and not letting the external world fuck all my shit up. Now, being in this very interesting situation that I'm in, it's allowed me to have a much different perspective than most people have. And this is truly a gift. It's kind of a messed up gift because I have to suffer a lot, but that suffering allows me to have this gift. What happened when I started my powerlifting team and I started watching people and watching what was happening, and I created a team of people that actually gave a shit about everyone else. We weren't a bunch of rah-rah guys. We were like, hey, we want to be the best. We expect you to be the best. That means we're going to hold you to a higher standard, and you have to hold me to a higher standard. And we're going to hold each other to a higher standard, and we're going to raise the whole tide. So when guys would come into my gym, we were always watching and asking questions. And we would see when somebody's stressed out. We would see when somebody's like just pissed off and frustrated. We would see when somebody looks tired. And then you'd start hearing these questions. Hey, man, how's your appetite? Yeah. How are you eating? Are you eating enough? You getting enough in? Yeah. Yeah. How's your work? How's your relationship? What's going on with your kids? And one of the questions inevitably would be like, how's your sleep, man? You sleeping good? And what I discovered is that when people train really hard and their central nervous system starts getting overtrained where it can't keep up, they start sleeping like me. They start sleeping like my sleep is when it's good. So they'll be like, man, like I go to sleep right away, but then I wake up and then all night long, it's like sleep awake, sleep awake, sleep awake. And I feel like I'm waking up like 50 times a night. That's when I go, okay, you're on a deload. Like this next week, you come in, you help the team, you help load plates, throw plates. We'll have you do some really light work, maybe some sled work. Definitely do the GPP days, but you're not lifting anything heavy. You're not putting any stress on your central nervous system at all. And we're going to do this until you start to sleep. And then depending on how bad they are, usually within 3 to 4 days, they're like, oh man, last night I finally had a good night of sleep and I'm feeling a lot better. I'm like, cool. You can train in 3 more days. Because a lot of times with injuries and with overtraining, you get that you're right on the cusp. And you feel good. So you think, hey, I feel good. Time to go, man. Time to rock into it. You're on the cusp. It's only going to take a little bit to throw you back over. I want you to get off the cusp and be solidly into recovered. Then we can start pushing it again. And I've done this enough and experienced this enough with enough people, and it's always exactly the same. If I give them the time off and I just start training muscles, but stay off of their central nervous system, still don't stop eating because you're not training heavy. Keep your nutrition up. Get as much sleep as you can, work on your meditation, work on your belly breathing, work on controlling your emotions and your anxiety. They get back to where they sleep normal. And now they're like, man, I'm sleeping through the night again. It's great. Bam. Everything starts going great in the gym again. Their attitude's better. They're not as crabby. They're not as pissed off. They're not as argumentative. Now they're happy. Their mind is open. They can see the things. They listen really well with the technique cues and stuff, and they come in with a really good attitude and a really good mindset. And this is one of the things I think people don't think enough about. And the scary, scary part about being a human is our ability to adapt. So people slowly ease into this whole overtraining thing, and they get to where they're deep into it, but they think they feel good, because they've completely forgot what it's like to feel good, which is basically my life. Like I'm exhausted the vast majority of the time, but it's normal to me. So I have to remind myself, Chad, I know it feels normal to you, but you're always on the edge. You have to be careful, especially now that I'm getting older and I want to live as long as I can, as healthy as I can. I want to live as long as I can be healthy. Let's say that. So it's important to me to start regulating this stuff. I don't need to be a 1,200 pound squatter anymore. And that brings up another quick topic. I did a video on my Instagram the other day. I'm not positive all the time. I'm human. There's times in my life where I'm like, man, just sick of it. I'm just fucking sick of it. I am tired of waking up feeling like I'm sick. I'm tired of waking up exhausted. And then I go through my day and I finally start feeling good about 7 or 8 o'clock. But I know I got to try to go back to bed, and I'm going to struggle all night long, and I'm going to wake up feeling like shit again. I'm tired of going through this cycle. I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of wanting to do stuff, but I'm exhausted. Like I'm tired of forcing everything. It gets to me. It does. It sucks. But most days, if I can manage to sleep okay, I can stay positive and I can find the things in my life that are good, because my life is good. I have a lot of great things in my life. I'm lucky to live the life that I live. But what happens is with depression and with sleep deprivation is it takes away your ability to see anything good. It's not like it's causing a bunch of negativity. That's all it's showing you is your negativity. I have to remind myself of the good. and that eases me up. And then I feel good. And I'm like, okay, cool, man. This is the one thing I have to deal with. It's not that bad. I mean, I'll get through it, man. I've lived my life this long, 52 years, and I became one of the top powerlifters in the world. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Now I get to help people. I get to help people with stuff like this, and with training, and with depression. I'm pretty lucky. So, I don't want people to think that, oh, Chad's positive all the time, I got to be positive. No, you're going to have bad days, man. We're human. It's just the way it goes. So I think for most people, the stress is caused, especially in heavy training, powerlifting, strength athletes, it's caused in overtraining. It's a big symptom of overtraining. But there's also the brain running. And I have this every now and then too. I'm actually pretty good at controlling it, but I will admit there's some nights where it's like, man, that was my fault. I didn't control my brain. I didn't relax my brain. I got something in there and I kept thinking about it and I kept digging on it, and I wouldn't let myself sleep, where I need to live in the moment. And in the moment, right then at night, it's like, hey, I'm in the moment. I don't care about the past. Don't care about the future. This is right now. And right now I should be trying to sleep. Nothing else matters. I should be living right here. It's sleep time. Sleep's a wonderful thing when you can get it. So maybe I can get it right now and stop thinking about all that shit and all those stresses, because it keeping you up at night isn't going to help anything. And right then at that moment, you don't know, like, let it go. Get good sleep, refresh in the morning. That's where I think if you do have one of those nights and you do have a medication that can actually help you to sleep, to relax your mind so you can sleep and you get a good quality sleep. I'm not against medication if it works. I would say try not to be dependent on it, but for nights that you need it, take it. I mean, if I had something right now that worked, I would take it at least a couple nights a week. And that brings up another thing. In my life, I remember 3 times where I actually did sleep. And it was from 2 of the times were from this supplement called Somatomax from High Tech Pharmacies. The ironic thing is I've been through probably 8 jugs of the stuff. It's worked twice. I don't know why. I can't figure out why. Those nights, one of the nights, I actually slept through my alarm for like an hour, hour and a half. I slept past my alarm. Like, it's going off and I was out. When I did finally look at my clock, I freaked out, man. Like, Chad's been awake for 7 days. I don't miss work and I'm not late. I'm on time and I do my job, and I do my job good. Even when I was doing receiving and inventory stuff, I could be screwed up in the head from being awake all night, but I knew my head was messed up. I knew my memory was messed up. So I would take really good notes. And even the guys that did the inventory when I was receiving are like, dude, I love when you're in charge of this beer, because I know it's going to be the best counts I ever get when you're in charge of it. Because I kept notes. I made sure everything was as optimal as possible. And even when I did inventory, the guys were like, man, your inventories are better than anybody else's. Because I always took notes. I made sure, like, I know my brain's not right. So I'm going to make sure. Like, for instance, there would be, when I was receiving Corona, it would come in a 35 pallet and a 45 pallet. One is 9, 5 high for 45. The other one was a 7 tie for 5, which was 35. Simple math. There would be times where I'm staring at the pallet and I can't fucking figure out how many are on it. Or like the wine, wines would come in a 14 tie. Well, how many layers is it? If it's 1 layer, it's 14. If it's 2, it's 28, blah, blah. Big deal. I'd stare at, I'm like, I can't figure it out, man. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, there's 5. Okay, there's this many layers. And like, I can't do simple math. So I made sure I had a piece of paper, I made sure I had notes, and I made sure I had a calculator. So I always made sure everything was right. Like, if you have issues and you have things, you don't just quit. You don't cave. You don't expect someone else to take care of you. You figure out how to get through it. And that's what I did. Okay, now I got off track again. So yes, the things you can do to help your sleep. And one of those is if the meds work, take the meds. If you know you got a lot of stress, then you need to work on things to help get rid of your stress. And that could be meditation. And meditation doesn't have to be sitting there. Like for me, riding my bikes is meditation. Like going for a walk in the evening without any radio, without any podcasts, without any, just going and just spending some time with myself. That's meditation. That helps me clear things out. That helps me go, wait a minute, Chad, you're stressing over stuff that you don't need to be stressed about. Like, what's your plan? Here's your plan. Okay, operate your plan. It's not this complicated. Stop making it worse. And that will help clear your mind. That will help put you in a better place to sleep. Taking some time to lay on the floor, put your feet up, belly breathe for a while. That will put you into more of a parasympathetic state. There's all kinds of different information of stuff you can look up right there. Vitamin D is a huge thing for your sleep. Magnesium is a huge thing for your sleep. Zinc is huge for your sleep. I actually recommend everybody take those. Ideally, you'll get blood work and everything, but I think everyone can take that and you're going to be just fine. It's actually going to help you. But this is the key. I would put up sleep over steroids. Now, if you get your sleep and you take steroids, okay, that's pretty good. But why are you taking steroids if you're getting 5 hours of sleep a night? Like, just get 8 hours of sleep and see what happens. You know, why spend all the money? Sleep's free. Sleep's free, sleep's easy, sleep's beautiful if you can get it. Oh, okay, back to what I was talking about. The 3 nights in the past, like 40 years that I've slept. The one, I slept through my alarm. I immediately called my work. And my boss goes, "Are you all right?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm fine, man. But somehow I slept last night. I slept through my alarm, dude. I'm going to jump in the shower. I'll be right there." And he goes, "No, no, 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 no." He goes, "Go back to sleep, man. If you finally slept, get some sleep. We'll fucking deal with it. Like, we're fine. We'll get through the day. Just go back to sleep, man. If you're actually sleeping, sleep." That's how messed up my sleep was and how they all knew it because they would see me on a day-to-day basis. And when I actually did go back to sleep and I'm in the shower and I'm just like, God damn it, man. Like, my body feels great. I'm like, my muscles feel good, man. My skin feels thicker and softer. My joints feel amazing. My muscles feel full and strong. Like, God damn it. Like, I'm going to conquer the world. If I can sleep every night, I'll be unstoppable. Like, it was so amazing to me. The feeling of sleeping and recovering, it was unbelievable. And that supplement, it did that twice to me. And each time it was unbelievable to wake up after getting some deep sleep and some good sleep. Absolutely amazing. Then the other time was at the end of my Thanksgiving. It was the last day of the Thanksgiving holiday, and I didn't do anything over that holiday. So I spent a ton of time napping, sleeping. And on Sunday, like, I just got up. It was like 6:00, and I'm like, this is weird. Like, I actually feel like getting up. Because for me, getting up is something I have to do. Or there'll be some weekends where it's like, oh, okay, I should probably go ahead and get up. And I'm like, oh, I feel okay. And then within like 30 minutes, I'm like completely exhausted. And I'll go sit down unless I have something I have to do. Like, even on my weekends, it's like, man, okay, I want to take the razor out tomorrow. Okay, man, you got to get up in the morning. Like, you got to get up. You got to force yourself to get out there. Once you're out there, you'll be okay. But you got to force yourself to get out there because I'm just so exhausted. But anyway, at this last day of Thanksgiving vacation, I get up and I'm like, man, what's up, man? I don't feel bad. And I had been working on, I got the molds for, actually, I got them from our gym, the Slantner stone molds, because I wanted to make some more stones. So I get up and I'm out back pouring Atlas stones, and I get a phone call, and I call it, and it's my partner, Ethan. And Ethan's like, dude, what are you doing up? It's like 7:00 on Sunday. And I go, I don't know. I just woke up and I actually felt okay. So I thought, hey, I'm going to go do something. And he goes, what the hell, dude? I go, I don't know. He's like, I seriously, he goes, I was just going to leave you a message, man. Like, why are you up? Like, he didn't know. I didn't know. It was like so weird because that never happened. Um, so that's like, I've slept like 3 nights that I can remember in the last 40 years, which is kind of pathetic. Whatever. Um, and that's the difference in sleep. And I think a lot of people, I tell people all the time, they're like, oh, I'm fine on 5 hours. I'm like, are you really fine in 5 hours? Or have you gotten there so slowly that you just forgot what it's like to feel good? Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm like, okay, well, have you tried? Like, how do you know unless you do it? You say you know you're fine with 5 hours, but have you gotten 8? I mean, have you gotten 6? Have you tried 6? Have you tried 7? Have you tried 8? Like, why not try them? And then you really know if it worked. And not like, well, I slept one day, I slept 7 hours, I felt like shit. Well, yeah, you probably have been sleep deprived for so long that the one day is not going to catch you back up. Like, it just made you feel, it just gave you a little more sleep, which actually you're not used to. So you actually felt worse. I mean, why don't you try it for like a month or two? But people don't want to do that. And that's gains, man. You're busting your butt in the gym. You're going to recover way faster if you get that extra sleep, if you get those extra chemicals and hormones. And then you'll be able to train even more. And you'll be able to get even stronger faster. Like, why wouldn't you try it? And I know because I've seen it over and over and over, because all the people that did try it, all the people that trained under me, and I basically said, listen, you have to fucking do this. They got better. And they all went, wow, that's crazy. That's awesome. I told you it would work. But it's a hard thing for people to change. Basically, I think that's it. I mean, sleep is it's essential to humans. Yes, we can get by without it. Yes, we can do great things without it. But why do you want to struggle when you don't have to? Why do you want to be angry and pissed off when the only real reason you're angry and pissed off is because you're not getting enough sleep? Because your body doesn't have the things it needs to actually heal. You know, people are willing to inject themselves with all kinds of shit, with all kinds of side effects, depending on how much you take. I'm not against steroids. Why wouldn't you utilize the lowest hanging fruit? Sleep is the lowest hanging fruit, and it's the biggest fruit. Why not try getting full sleep before you try all this other crap? Like, it's the one natural thing that's only going to make you healthier, better, stronger. It's going to put you in a better mood. You're going to recover faster. You're going to feel better. Your joints are going to feel better. Your ligaments are going to feel better. Like, it does all of it. To do all that, you're going to have to take different steroids. All you got to do is sleep. Why wouldn't you go to sleep first and try that? And I get to live on the other end of it. I know how horrible it is. Now, if you don't have what I have, you're not going to feel it to the extreme level that I do. Very few people have actually been awake for 10 to 14 days. I'm a 1%er in that aspect as well as my strength. So I know, and I've experienced enough that it's just different intensity levels. Anyone who overtrains enough is going to start dealing with all this shit. They're not going to want to recognize it. They're not going to want to take the time to do it because they want to keep continuing to beat the crap out of themselves for some unknown reason. Now, here's the caveat to this. I'm telling you how important sleep is. I'm telling you need to get your sleep. I am trying my hardest to get everyone listening to go, you know what? All right, I'll try it. Like, you've convinced me, I'm going to try it. That's my goal here. But at the same time, I put up some of the biggest lifts in history with no sleep. Makes it kind of ironic that I'm preaching you need sleep, you need to get your sleep. No, you can do great things without sleep. If you have the mentality, the mind can do amazing things. I'm proof that the mind, the heart, and the will can do amazing things. But why? Do you want to go through what I went through to do that? Because you could get where I got and be way healthier. You don't have to go through what I went through because you already sleep. So why wouldn't you want to do that? And quite honestly, like everybody on my team, and I just did a podcast that'll be out soon with Vinny DiZenzo. And even he goes, the one amazing thing about you is he's like, what could you have done if you slept? And that's one of those what ifs. Maybe me not sleeping is what made me so tough and so mentally strong that I was able to lift what I did. Maybe if I would have got sleep, I wouldn't have been any good at all. I don't know. What I do know is from a physiological standpoint, sleep is hugely important in strength training. Can you get by without it? Yes. But why would you want to? You want to get by not being as healthy, not being as happy, not feeling as good. You know, you got these guys, these great powerlifters that have horrible freaking lives. They thrash relationships and jobs and all this stuff. And the whole time I'm going, I mean, you guys know you're overtrained, right? You know, part of your anger and part of your mentality is because you're overtrained. Like if you weren't overtraining so much, you would lift better and you would be a happier, more well-adjusted person. So your relationships would be better and your careers would be better. Like, why do you want to do that? Like, I don't understand. Like I worked so hard to try and keep everything mellow and keep everything in control. You could do it way easier. Why don't you want to? I don't understand. Like, is doing it the hard way make you feel tough? I mean, I don't get it. That's another podcast, another episode. This is way longer than I wanted it to be. But I hope there's some information in there. I hope that there is some understanding towards what you can take away from my experiences. I want people to learn from my experiences. Yeah, you're going to have to struggle. You're going to have hard things to teach yourself. We grow from hard times. But if I can save you some time, if you're in this right now and you're going, man, Chad, you know what? Chad's right. Like I have been feeling pretty angry and pretty negative. And, you know, now that he says it, my sleep has been pretty shitty. Okay, maybe I need to back off a little bit, get on some vitamin D, get on some magnesium, some zinc, and maybe I need to focus on my sleep a little bit. And then all of a sudden they start getting stronger and they feel better and their life's great. That's what I want. Maybe I didn't save them a ton of time. Maybe I didn't stop them from going into it, but maybe I was the light that gave them the vision to go, this is what I need to do. So let me rework this. And maybe I saved them some time. Maybe now they're going to go put up huge numbers and kick the shit out of the numbers I did. That would be amazing. That would be awesome. That's my goal here is to get you people to kind of look at these things and start thinking in terms of this whole spherical where everything is intertwined, everything runs together. It's not just, hey, here's what I do in the gym. And then here's my job. And then here's my wife. It's one big ball. It's all these curved lines that are all running into each other and around each other and through each other. Okay. I'm done talking. Gonna get some eating. Maybe get me some sleep. Thanks for listening. Check out couragebravo.com. Pick up a t-shirt, pick up a hat, something like that. Check out the YouTube channel. The podcast is now on the YouTube channel, and then it's on the regular podcasting, I don't know, Spotify, whatever you want to call that. Check out my Instagram, which is Chad Ikes, and I'm out of here, man.
Thanks for listening to the Courage Barbell Unlimited podcast. For more information, please visit couragebarbell.com. Until next time.